Everyone, good afternoon. We are a team of three, Sriram, Jahnavi, Anurag, and our project for CMPE 285, guided by Professor Recharts, is the stock portfolio session engine. So what is the project about? In simple words, it's a web application that helps a person decide which stocks to buy. The problem we are solving is very common. A lot of people have money they want to invest, but they don't know which stocks actually match their goals or their value. Our application takes the confusion away. The user just tells us how much money they have and what kind of investor they want to be, and the engine does the thinking for them. Let me walk you through how we built it and how it works. So, here is the main idea. The user enters how much money they want to invest. The minimum amount is $5,000. Then they can pick one or two investing strategies. After that, the engine instantly builds a complete portfolio for them. But it does not just stop at picking stocks, it does a lot more. It shows the live prices pulled directly from the internet, so the numbers are always up to date. It divides the money across the selected stocks, so the user knows exactly how much goes where. It also gives a 5-day trend chart, so they can see how the portfolio value moved over the weekend. And on the top of that, we added extra features to make it more useful. There is a risk rating which tells the user whether their portfolio is low, medium, or high risk. There is a strategy comparison which shows how all 5 strategies would have performed. And there is a news feed which shows recent headlines for each stocks. So in just a few seconds, the user gets a complete portfolio that is fully backed by real live data. Let's see how it works. Now let me explain how it actually works behind the scenes. We have 5 investing strategies. These are ethical, growth, index, quality, and value. Each strategy is mapped to 3 real stocks or ETF. For example, ethical strategy maps to companies seen as responsible like Adobe, Apple, Nestle. The growth strategy maps to fast growing companies like Tesla, Nvidia, and Amazon. And if the user pick two strategies at the same point or same instance, we simply combine the stocks from both and remove any duplicates. The user flow itself is very simple and it has 4 steps. Firstly, the user inputs the amount and picks their strategy. Second, the app fetches all the live data from the internet. Third, it displays the results, which include the allocation, the trend chart, the risk rating, and the news. And at the last, the portfolio is automatically saved on the user's browser so they can come back and reload any of their past portfolios later. Now, let me come to the technical slide. For the backend, we used Python with FastAPI framework. For the livestock data, we used a library called yfinance, which pulls data from Yahoo Finance. A big advantage here is that it does not require any API key, which keeps the project free and easy to run. The frontend is built using React, TypeScript, and Vite, and it is styled with TailwindCSS. For these stats, we used a library called Recharts. The architecture is intentionally clean and simple. The React application in the browser talks to our FastAPI backend. The backend then fetches the live data from Yahoo Finance and sends it back. One important decision is that we do not use a database at all. Everything is fetched fresh on every request. This makes the system lightweight and reliable, and it also means there is no setup needed to run. Let's see how the app looks like. Let me show you what the application looks from the user side. At the top of the screen, the user can see a summary. It shows their total investment, the strategies they selected, and how the portfolio is currently performing. Just below that is the allocation table. This table lists every stock, its company name, and exactly how much money is allocated to it. One feature we are really happy with is the adjustable sliders. The user is not stuck with an equal split. They can drag the sliders and rebalance the portfolio live in real time, and the numbers update instantly without reloading the page. The whole experience is designed as a clean two-screen flow. The first screen is a simple input form, and the second screen is this rich results dashboard. We focused a lot on keeping it simple and easy to understand, even for a first-time investor. Let me finally wrap the limitations, future work, and summary. We want to be honest about the current limitations of the project. For example, there is no warning shown when the stock market is closed, so on weekends the data could be little stale. The news section is sometimes empty because the data source does not always provide it, and there is no user login yet, which means the saved history stays only on that one browser. For future work, we have a clear plan. We would like to add user logins and a market status banner. We want to move the history to a proper backend database so it is shared and permanent. We would also like to build a custom strategy builder so users can create their own strategies, and finally add automated testing along with cloud deployment. So overall, this is a complete and working full stack application. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. So let me switch over to the live app now. You can see I have two terminals running. The backend is up on port 8000 using FastAPI, and the frontend is running on port 5173 using Vite. So now I'll open the browser. So yeah, this is the live app, the stock portfolio suggestion engine. So before I generate a portfolio, let me quickly show the validations we built in. So let me type 3000 in the amount field. Let me select a strategy and then click generate. Since the 3000 is below the minimum, the app immediately shows minimum investment is 5000 USD, so it doesn't proceed to the results page at all. So now let me clear the strategy and put some valid value, 10,000 maybe. Yeah, so it says please select at least one strategy. Both these validations happen on the front end before any API call is made. So now let me select two more strategies. One would be the growth strategy and two more. So you can see the index card is faded and completely unclickable. The UI enforces a hard cap of two strategies. So yeah, now let me generate an actual portfolio. I will invest 10,000 and go with growth investing. So that maps to Tesla, Nvidia and Amazon. So now let me click on generate portfolio. You can see the loading spinner on the bottom. So in the background, the front end is calling our portfolio endpoint first, then firing 4 more calls in parallel. So for price history, risk scores, news and the strategy comparison. So all of that comes back in a few seconds. Now results are loaded. So here is the result page. The banner at the top confirms 10,000 invested, growth strategy and 3 stocks and ETFs. So the allocation table shows each ticker with its live market price pulled right now from Yahoo Finance, the dollar amount allocated, the number of shares that buys you at current price, and a weight slider starting at roughly 33.3% each because we did an equal split across the 3 tickers. So now this is one of the more interactive features. Say I'm more confident in Amazon because risk assessment says Amazon has less risk. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Amazon. So I want to put more weight on it. I'll drag this slider up, so around 60% maybe. So watch what happens. Amazon allocation jumps up and Nvidia, Tesla automatically decrease to compensate. So the total at the bottom stays exactly at 10,000 throughout. So this entire calculation is happening client side, no API call, no server round trip, completely instant. So the logic just redistributes the remaining percentage proportionally among the other tickers. So scrolling down, we have the risk assessment. So the overall risk level is high for this growth portfolio, which makes sense given Tesla and Nvidia's volatility. So the badge pulses red to draw attention. So below it, each ticker has its own colored chip showing its individual risk level. So risk is calculated from the standard deviation of the last 5 days of daily returns. So under 1% is low, 1 to 2.5% is medium, about 2.5% is high. So now coming to the 5-day portfolio trend, this simulates how your 10,000 would have actually performed over the last 5 trading days based on live historical prices. So you can see the current portfolio value, the gain or loss in dollars and the percentage change. So below that is the strategy comparison chart. So this is something I really like. So it takes the same 10,000 and simulates all 5 strategies over the same 5-day window and plots them together. So you can immediately see, was growth actually the best choice this week, or would quality or value have done better? So it gives the user real context to evaluate their decision. So continuing down, the sector breakdown, so which shows which sectors your money is concentrated in. So for growth, Tesla and Amazon are both consumer discretionary, so that's 66.7% of the portfolio in one sector. Nvidia is technology at 33.3%. So if someone sees 66% in one sector, they might want to diversify. So this card makes that immediately visible. So on the right sidebar, we have the news feed. So up to 3 live headlines per ticker fetched from Yahoo Finance. So you get the headline, publisher, date, and a direct link that opens a new tab. So ETFs sometimes return empty news. That's a known limitation of the data source and it's not a bug. So and coming to at the top of the allocation table, there is an export CSV button. So let me click on it. So as you can see, it's downloaded. Yeah, it downloads a file named with today's date. So you get the headers, ticker, company, live price, allocated shares and weight, and a total row at the bottom confirming everything sums to 10,000. 100%, which is. So now let me show you the 2 strategy flow. Now let me show you the 2 strategy flow. Now I'll click on new portfolio. Okay, now I will invest 20,000 this time. I will select ethical investing first. That's Apple, Adobe and Nestle. Then I'll also select quality investing, which is Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble. So after selecting, so as soon as I pick the second strategy, this strategy split slider appears automatically. So this lets me control what percentage of my 20,000 goes to each strategy. So right now it's 50-50. So I'll drag it to 70% ethical and 30% quality. Yeah. So you can see the live dollar amounts update below the slider. Roughly 14,000 going to ethical and 6,000 going to quality. That split is sent to the backend as part of the request. On the results page, the ethical tickers each get about 23.3% because 70% of 20,000 split equally across 3 stocks is about 4,667 each. The quality tickers each get 10% because 30% split across these 3 is 2,000 each. So the unequal allocation comes through exactly as expected. So the last thing, let me click on new portfolio one more time. So look at the right sidebar. We now have 2 past portfolios saved, the 10,000 growth one and the 20,000 ethical plus quality one. So these are stored in browser local storage. They persist even if you close the tab and come back later. So up to 20 portfolios are saved automatically. So now click on the growth entry. So if I click on the growth entry, the amount field restores to 10,000 and the growth strategy is reselected. So instant, no API call needed. The user can also clear the entire history with the clear button on the top. Yeah, and that covers the full video. So yeah, thank you so much.